Welcome everybody to this week's Dissecting Design. We're taking a look back at a classic city builder that tried to do things a little bit differently, and that was Tropico. Now I know things aren't looking as full screen as they normally are. With Tropico being over, I think like 12-15 years at this point, it simply is not working with OBS. If I try to run full screen, either A, the bottom gets cut off, or you'll get a lovely seizure-inducing flash on the right-hand side as it's trying to load up my desktop at the same time. So unfortunately, this will have to do. And I'm hoping that it will be kind, because again, I won't have full scrolling here. But we shall see how this works. Anyway, Tropico was a city builder that was released with a different form of design. Namely, instead of being about managing a city, you are running an island. And it's up to you to become El Presidente and take over. Now, one of the things that Tropico did differently compared to other games of its time, and even today, is kind of went in between the two main forms of city builders. Some city builders go for a full sim aspect with a downplay of the actual people. Stuff like SimCities, City Skylines, stuff like that. Wherein the entire simulation model is built on how like traffic works, how resources are moved around, things like that. The other option is to focus on no real sim aspect, and things have a very black and white nature to them. The Anno series would be a good example of this, and some other recent city builders, wherein once I place a building down, that's it. There's no real simulation of people moving around, there's no attempt to try to see how things work outside of a very basic connection. In Tropico, it is a bit different. I don't have full control over my people. Instead, I basically place buildings down and kind of infer to them where they should be going. And there's also some really great Caribbean music as well. But our goal is not only to become a great ruler, but to earn enough money in our Swiss bank account. Now, the interesting aspect behind Tropico's design is that it is built on a walker system, but not the same as what we saw with Impressions era and other future city builders. When it comes to a walker system, there's two kinds. You have what's called a push or a pull. A push is when civic services or buildings will kind of radiate out, and the services are basically extended through a road or some kind of transportation network. This is what the entire Impressions era did, what kind of SimCity does as well, wherein the only way things work is if they're connected to a road, and then things are just pushed out. A pull system is when buildings will essentially pull people to them, and that's how the services are done. It's more realistic. The supermarket doesn't send you food, you go to the supermarket. The problem is that when we start talking about city builders that have hundreds, if not thousands, of people moving around, it becomes impossible to simulate that without just destroying a computer. So, with this system, this is done using a pull. Each one of my civilians, or my workers here, will move around in real time. A building doesn't get constructed unless they will actually walk over and do it. Goods are transported the same way. So right now they are busy growing tobacco, which once that's done, oh wait, this is our tobacco farm, right here. I'm going to raise the price up so that more people go to work there. So you should see things being reflected any second now. Well, they're going to transport the food via our, where is our Teamsters? Right here. Teamsters take it to the port, and then the dock over here, our dock workers will then put it onto the boats that come. So let's see. So you can see more people going to work at the tobacco farm because it's pays out more. Let's see. Is there a good place for cattle? Looks like right here. Now, buildings are not constructed immediately. Instead, our construction team, and you can see the tobacco farm is now full here. But slowly but surely, our construction workers are going to walk over there and build. Now, the thing about Tropico, and this kind of like humanistic focus on city building, is that we're not given complete accurate information about how things work. We don't know when we place something down if it's going to directly impact our people. Instead, we have to infer on how they respond, what they need, and stuff like that. Another city builder which we need to look at some point is Children of the Nile, which also went for this pull system, and in a sense is a lot more humanity or human driven compared to the sim aspects of games like SimCity, Cities, Skyline, and you name it. But right now, we need to get our place going. Now, the UI is just okay. They could have probably made use, well, eventually, city builders would use a dynamic UI that would show relevant information based on what we're clicking on. Let's see. Any good minerals here? Now, our people are okay. They could be happier. If we're going to do it, we need to keep the various factions okay. We have the military, we have communists, and so on and so forth. Let's see what we got here. Now, our farms are good. Let's see. Raise the price up just a little bit. We need more people to move in. Let's see. Nice music though, right? I'm gonna build a tenement, which should hopefully get these people to move in, then we'll charge them rent. Oh good, here comes our yacht. Or I'm sorry, our freighter. What are our Teamsters doing? Come on, people, move. Ah, here they come. They are delivering goods, which at the next place will, or the next shipment, will earn us money. As we build out, we can also improve our entertainment or our basic structures. Many buildings or advanced ones will require educated workers, which means we need to build schools. Where are you? Infrastructure, human services, here we go, and colleges as well. Now we could also build a hotel for our tourists, but it costs us a lot of money to do that. So over here, we have some lovely beaches that could attract tourism. So I'm going to do that right now. Another major part of Tropico is using edicts to basically instill your will, or make people happier, or make their lives miserable, depending upon how you want to go. I'm going to build another dock. And this dock's job is simply to take in tourism. Come on, people, work faster. Okay, so as you can see, they're slowly but surely transporting the money, or transporting our goods. Another major part about these kinds of pool systems, or this human focus of city building, is that there's an ebb and flow to the game that you don't really get with the more sim aspects. We're not getting things immediately. We're waiting for people to go and build it. We're waiting for food to get delivered. And it gives it a nice feel to it compared to other city builders. So they're still growing out tobacco. Basically, we're in a down slope of the economy while we wait for some of our services to grow. People are moving in there. I'm going to raise the price up just slightly. We want people to move in. We want them to give us money. Oh, nope, they did not like that. They basically will only pay what they're actually earning. Oh, what was that? Uh-oh. That's not good. Random events, folks. So I'm going to build a clinic. Right here. And notice how the people are free to walk wherever they want. They're not limited to roads. Now I'm hoping that these crops will get done. And then we can start earning some good money. They're building the hotel. Once that's done, we'll get tourism, which will hopefully earn us some more money and make the capitalists happy. Okay, they've all moved in there, so we'll hopefully get some money that way. Now, the thing about these kinds of city builders is that we don't really have an end game to focus on. It's just up to us to keep building and either wait for time to run out or for any goals that we decide, such as happiness, money, etc., etc. Let's see, how are we doing? Well, the income disparity is getting lower, that's good. Food quality is going down, though. But with the clinic getting done, now we have some basic health care. Alright. So again, you can see our dock workers loading in our goods, and then our money will be growing in the bottom right. There we go. Come on, guys. Give me that money. Meanwhile, come on, workers, do it. And I do like these kinds of games. There's a lot of variance in terms of how the map will play out due to the fact that it generates the area, and that you're kind of free to do what you want. If I want to build a tourism spot, we can do that. We just want to focus on a hard communist regime, we can do that as well. Alright, but that's fine. Let's see, how are we doing? Alright, so there is some example of a dynamic UI, we just have to turn it on, as it's showing us what's relevant. Now, we would like to get some additional industries up. Music's also really nice. Uh-oh. They want us to hire more soldiers. Let's see. How am I going to fit this on? Yeah. There we go. But I do also want near where my people are living, too. That looks good. That will be another source of income. And we want more people to construct, we just seem to hire or place more in there. But we have a limit, we only have 69 people. A lot of them are not happy. They probably want some better housing, too. There we go. Now, we'll talk about this in a few minutes. We'll probably fast forward to a little bit later on once we have tourism going. But again, the basic rules are keep people happy. They will eventually want to call for votes in terms of an election, which if we lose the game. So we'll have to find ways to either keep people happy or rig things. But I'm going to cut things here, and I'll be back in a minute with my island a little bit more developed to talk about some of the advanced gameplay. Alright, I'm further in on this play of Tropico now. We can talk a little bit more about some of the advanced things that happen while you go through the game. So right now, we've got some basic industries growing. Now, one complaint about Tropico, and another thing about, like I said, when it comes to these human-focused city builders, is that it's very hard to get accurate information as to what's going on. For instance, it's telling me that we have an input of 14.9 raw materials, but I don't know exactly, like, what is being produced, how much is actually being consumed. And that kind of information is always very important when it comes to decision making in city builders. But with games like Tropico and even something like Children of the Nile, it's hard to know exactly what I'm doing because changes or impacts are not immediate. When you're playing a game like SimCity or City Skylines, I build a fire department, boom, we now have additional fire support. If I build a better church, we now have improved religion, and so on and so forth. In this game, I build a church, I don't know exactly if it's really impacting people with their religious needs. I don't know if my police people are doing well. And it looks like I need to build a college, too, while I'm sitting here talking to you folks. So, I'm going to do that right here. Where are you, college? I don't need a bank yet. Here we go, Human Services. And why not? I'll build it right next to the school. Those will basically train our workforce to become college educated so that we don't need to hire people to come work for us. I also built a second construction yard or office up there because it was taking a very long time. Now, the idea behind tourism, this was added with an expansion to Tropico that was released after the game came out. And the general concept is the tourism side should be separate from your actual living side. Because tourism don't want to go tour your furniture factory or our tobacco and banana fields. We'll raise the costs up there, try to get people coming. Our cattle are doing okay. There's a hoof and mouth disease that wiped out my flock, unfortunately. So people are living. They're generally happy, but again, it's very hard due to the sim aspect at the individual layer to know how people are to improve things. When we play games like SimCity or even strategy games like Civilization, happiness and needs are abstracted to a very basic level. If I build this building, it will produce 1 point of happiness. When my population hits this point, we lose 2 points of happiness. As long as happiness is above X point, everybody remains happy. And again, this kind of stuff is a key part of the min-maxing side of city builders. But when you're playing a game like Tropico, and even something like Banished, you don't have that option. How are we doing? We need more people in our workforce. We need more kids to go to school. How's our construction office doing? Alright, somebody's coming there. We need more people to work at our basic structures here. Let's speed things up a little bit. We got some goods ready to go. And tourism seems to be going fine. Alright. So now with the furniture factory, they will take in the lumber. So it basically goes logging camp to lumber mill to furniture. And you can see our little people walking around. There he goes. Yeah, we know. So we have an input of 5. So we should be getting some more output soon. Uh-oh. Oh no, that was a good one, folks. Never mind. But everything seems to be going reasonably okay. The rate we're going, we probably need to build another corn farm. You know what? We'll make it papaya this time. Try to differentiate our crops. Now we come over here, we can see again 800, 600, 1000. I don't really care about overall right now. So coffee is definitely high. Looks like there's only one spot on this entire place. Uh-oh. So the military is not happy with me. Now, why are they not happy? Oh, we can also build an airport. Let's see what this does.
Consider it done, my president.
Oh, we got Mardi Gras, too. And again, we need to know what's going on with our people. Where is my little bulletin board that shows me how things are going? Here it is. So people seem to be happy that way. Tourism is growing. Let's see. Let's cancel that. They seem to be doing okay. This is one of the things about this UI. There's a lot of things to click on, which can make it very easy to lose sight of what is going on. Let's see. Well, the militarists seem to be happy. He has a nice family there. Nobody seems to want to kill me yet, so that's a good sign. So how are they doing? So they are now producing furniture. Is our college done? Alright, we need to get a professor there to now teach our people to become college educated. Coffee is now being worked on. And again, there's just a general lack of immediate information in Tropico. Now, with that said, though, we're going to fast forward a little bit further. I want to talk about some of the limitations of this kind of design, and how some of them are indicative of city builders in general, and some are just for this kind of human-focused design. Alright, I just got hit by a hurricane, which kind of decimated most of my area. I think that's probably a good time to wrap up the play and talk about some of the limitations of this humanistic side of city building. The big point is that there's just a general lack of, I guess, a real gameplay variance. This is indicative of city builders in general, in how there's just not a lot here in terms of making each run feel different. You can, of course, limit yourself, and many people who've played city builders will do that. Like, let's say we'll have one match where I will only build agricultural, and that will be it. Someone like me, someone playing City Skylines with a map that had literally one house. And that's certainly interesting, but it doesn't really present a lot of carrots or carrots on the sticks to go after. When it comes to the humanistic side of things, because of how abstracted things are, it does limit how you build up. I know what I'm always going to need every time I play. And as we've talked about before, roguelike design, that kind of limited choices or limited options kills variance. This is one of the issues a lot of people had with Banished, which was one of the more extreme examples of this kind of gameplay. By the fact that if you're not careful, your people will basically starve or freeze to death by the first year. But to get them over that hump, you're always going to do the same thing every time without question. And this is one of the big issues. Once you've built one city like this, or if you've gotten one point where you've built everything, there's just not a lot here to do. I'm kind of just placing buildings down and watching things unfurl. Compared to a sim aspect, or a simulation, that's better, model with SimCities or City Skylines, where I can kind of direct things from that God's eye point of view. I can watch how traffic works. I can see, if my infrastructure is going. Now, with something like Anno and other city builders that remove that sim aspect for a focus on min-maxing, at that point it becomes more like a puzzle game rather than a city builder. Because again, I place a building down, that's it. Its function, purpose, and utility will never change. I don't really care about what's going on. I only care about what numbers are high and which numbers are low. With Tropico, later games in the series would go more towards that simulation aspect of SimCity, with Tropico's 3, 4, I believe we're up to either 5 or 6 right now. But the first game has a great look and feel to it. It's not something that is easily copied. But for those of you who have played either Tropico 1 or even Tropico 2, what kept you playing, or what kept you engaged to either build more than just one city, or go beyond just playing the campaign out? Because typically, these kinds of games have a pretty extensive campaign structure, but again, there's just not a lot here to really lend itself towards different avenues of play, and that's indicative of all city builders. But I'm going to head out to my GOG library page for my final thoughts next. Alright, we're back at the title screen. I was able once again to get work with a window here to go over my final thoughts on the game. So, with Tropico and this kind of humanistic micro layer feel to it, it does stand up quite well compared to its contemporaries and to modern city builders. That focus allows it to have a little bit more personality to it, and we saw later games, not necessarily city builders, kind of adopt that, including the classic Space Colony and Startopia. But the problem with this kind of design, again, is twofold. One, it doesn't have, I think, the legs for long-term variants or long-term changes to your city, due to the fact that you're not really getting the advancements of the simulation model underneath it. And then the other problem is the lack of immediate information. This is a big killer, not just of this, but also of Children of the Nile, and in some aspects Banished as well. Because you don't know what something's going to impact, it can be very easy to enter a downward spiral of people are unhappy, I build the structure that I think will help them, it turns out it doesn't, they get more unhappy, and then I can't get out of that hole. And again, the fact that resources kind of exist within the map instead of an abstract value can also make it harder to know what I need or what's going on. If you were watching our player, if you were watching the farms and stuff in Tropico, you notice how, again, it shows what I'm outputting, but there's no real easy way to see just exactly how much food do I have, how much tobacco am I producing, Am I producing enough for my factories? Am I doing this? But with that said, though, this is definitely a different kind of game compared to when we looked at Anno 1404 in a previous Dissecting Design. And I really do like these city builders, and I like to see that sense of personality grow. And at some point, we do need to play Children of the Nile, if it's a live stream or just a Dissecting Design, because that kind of became the apex of this micro-layer focus gameplay. But to wrap things up, let me know what you think about Tropico in the comments below, and especially for those of you who played Tropico 2. We did it on stream, and it felt like some of the magic was lost in terms of obscuring more elements, and just not having that same sense of pacing and flow. Although I'm really liking the Caribbean music that's playing right now. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get content flagged for it, but it would be great to have some Caribbean music as, the in-betweens for our talks. Anyway, thanks for watching. I know this Dissecting Design went up on Tuesday. Again, due to the issues, I had to re-record it, but these pieces usually go up each Monday. And let me know if you have a suggestion for a future game, and be sure to check back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, have a good day. Before we get to the credits, just want to give a quick shout out to the fans and supporters over on patreon.com/gwbicer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check back around 10 Eastern for regular streaming. If you'd like to suggest games for me to cover or topics to talk about, let me know in the comments below. For a collection of my writings as well as weekly podcasts on design, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the Game Wisdom Patreon, you can find us on there on patreon.com/gwbicer. $1 will get you into our private Discord channel where we talk game topics and more. $5 will get you voting privileges for any major event, including the Saturday Night Grab Bag, Patreon-funded goals, and more. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy more videos here on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel.